It's January 12th, 2026. I'm Connor, and this is the Monday Grind. So, made it another week, week two. I'm trying to do this more unscripted this time. I watched back the original video and I enjoyed it, but I also felt like it was a little bit forced on my end. And I think part of it was because uh, after taking such a long break, I wasn't quite used to the different cadence and how to formulate what I even wanted to say. So I felt like I needed a script, but we're going to go back to more of an unscripted format and just see how it goes. Last week, what I wanted to do was get all the systems in my game written down and, if possible, start to get them in engine. I don't think that I succeeded in terms of writing them down, but I did think quite a bit about the mechanics that I wanted in my prototype, what I wanted to try to do, and I was actually able to get a lot more into the game than I thought I was going to be able to. One of the things that I'm trying to prioritize this time around is get stuff in, put it in the right place, and make it modular so that it can be moved around. It takes a little bit more time, but I'm also not trying to make things pretty. And I guess what I mean by that is if there's a UI, I'm going to do it in the quickest way I can and get it there. If there are art assets, I'm going to, or anything that needs art, I should say, I'm going to look for assets, something that I already have, get it into the game engine and see how it looks first, and then start building up everything around it. With Puzzle Milk Tea, I feel like I spent a long time thinking about how to do things and incrementally going through. And I think it was almost like I would think of a mechanic, and then I would think of all the art and music and sounds that I would need, and then I would spend a long time mulling over that and never just go in and put the mechanics in. And what would end up happening is I might have a mechanic that didn't really work out that well, and now all of a sudden I'm kind of stuck with it, or I just wasted a lot of time. For this game, I'm trying to fight that a little bit more. I don't think I'm always successful, but I'm definitely trying to fight it a little bit more. And, I like where it's turning out. The game feels like it's taking shape, and I know what it's going to be, or I can see where it's headed. But at the same time, I'm not feeling like I'm wasting my time either. I'm just kind of getting things in, thinking about what I need to do, doing it, and then moving forward. So that felt pretty good. So without further ado, let me just hop into the engine and let me show you what's going on. So this is the first screen that I'm taking you to, and you're going to hear all the good clicking sounds because using my mouse and everything. But this town is going to have a couple different buildings, and as of right now, the only one I have implemented is this blacksmith. So if I click on it, there's going to be a screen that pops up, and you can see within a given panel here that you have some stats that are listed. There's a default name. Obviously, I haven't gone through and added character names yet, but there's some stats on the right side of the panel. And there are two slots where there's a weapon and a tool, and you can say reroll on either of these, but they're currently grayed out. And so what this game is going to be is essentially building up a character that has stats and having a whole party of them, and then setting out on missions and trying to complete as many things as you can, explore the world, gather some items, and then craft your essentially perfect party if you want. And so this game is going to hinge on a lot of using these stats to interact with the world and also finding things to unlock as you're going on missions. So that's what this blacksmith is. I can right now just click on it to add and remove, but what I'd really like is to have this screen open up, have a little X that I can click, have a nice menu go through, and then click on that to close it, and then you kind of go back to this space. So there's almost like an overworld hub, but you're not moving around the space, you're just kind of hovering. This barrel-looking icon or building is going to end up being the tavern, where you can click and manage your party. It's going to be maybe more like the guild house for the party members that you have, where you can click on it and actually start swapping out your party members, changing their equipment, things like that. And then the last building is this town hall, where you can click on it and maybe change some meta progression stuff where things are looking a little bit different, and going through and adding mechanics, maybe removing mechanics, making it easier, making it more costly, less expensive, I don't know. But this will kind of end up becoming the place where you're going to change like the rules about setting out. And then finally we have this boat. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and there's going to be kind of an abrupt movement, but that's actually the town where we were actually just at, just much closer. So now we see there's a bunch of different areas that I can hover on, click on. These ones on the outside I can't really navigate to, but then there's these ones that have pathways that I can click. So we're going to go ahead and click on this plains and see how it goes. The stats are currently randomized, so we got lucky, and this one's showing 100. So when I clicked on this plains icon, I'm looking at this mission panel on the right side where I can see rewards and how many I'm going to get of each of those rewards, including a gathering boost. And I see a mission with a mission name and a rank, some description. I can select it. I see a percentage chance, and this percentage chance is actually calculated based on the skills of my total party. And then the mission also has its own skills where I'm seeing what are the required skills for completing this mission, which is 5 survival and 10 gathering. And since my team has 18 survival, 10 gathering, there's a 100% chance for me to complete this. So I'm going to go ahead and select that mission. And it was successful, and now I have an option to go to 2 different nodes. So let's go ahead and go to a forest and see how that compares. So I have another harvest trees, which is gather woods in the area. I'm going to get some wood, some gathering boosts. Most notably, my gathering is now 11 out of 10, where it was 10 out of 10 before, and that's because we got that gathering boost from the last node. So my gathering is actually increasing as I'm going out on this mission. And I also have this create a map of the area, which is a little bit more... It's rank 2, so the stats are a little bit better, and it's combat, magic, as well as survival is 30, but I only have 18. So this is only 36% chance for me to succeed. So there's some calculations going into this that's not making it exactly linear, but essentially, if you don't have the matching stats, it's always going to be harder to finish it. And the fewer stats that you have, the more it's going to essentially make it harder to finish it. So you can't just say, oh, I'm going to get 10 stats and then it's going to be a linear, however many points that is. There's a little bit more going into it. So let's just explore a little bit more on this first mission. Our units are pretty weak, so why don't we just continue doing gathering? And so we'll go back to the plains. I'm going to select another mission. There's a third one that popped up. And the last one is I'm going to carve some stone at the mountain. Okay, and now there's a special node that popped up. I'm going to click on that. And now we have an option of 4, where the last one is this Channel the Earth Crystal. It's a rank 4 mission, and it takes a lot of stats. I can't even complete it. There's a 0% chance of success. There's a level 3 one, Protecting the Inner Chamber. That one has 2% chance of succeeding. Very low as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on this one to get some bone fragments and a bronze ore. And the ship is automatically finishing its quest, going back to the center town, and now we're back at the town. So if I click on the ship, we can set out again and go forth. But if I click on the blacksmith now, I can start re-rolling some of my weapons and tools. So if I click on this, I got a bronze hammer that's uncommon. I got a bronze pot as a tool that's rare. This is very simplified right now, but essentially I am just spending my resources that I have gathered to re-roll, and it's one resource to one re-roll. But eventually this is going to be a lot more fleshed out, where you're crafting these weapons, you're rolling them, you're adding stats and all these different things, and there's going to be different ways to spend your resources. So everything is now spent. I have no more rerolls, but my stats are a lot better. I have 9 combat, 7 survival just on this one character, 6 survival on this other character. So what we're going to do is we'll set out one more time and maybe see how things have changed. So on this one, nothing has changed. We'll do our guaranteed carved stone. Now let's actually go to the plains. We're going to avoid the stone and see what happens. So I have a 69% chance on this repel the scouts. I have 33 combat out of 27. So let me go ahead and see if I could finish it. It was successful. Let's go to the forest and see what that one has in store for us. There's a 66% chance here. I'm going to keep going for the low ones and see. Success. We're getting pretty lucky. I don't feel too comfortable about going for that 29%, so we'll keep going for the medium. Okay, we still failed. And when I fail, I'm going back to the town, but I'm still wondering if maybe what I might do is have it so you can't fail. Still debating and seeing. So I guess if you have thoughts, leave some comments. Again, just trying to figure out if what I want to do is have the final mission be the only one that matters, and success or failure, you get all your missions and then you come back. And then it's just a matter of how you want to spend your resources, or I guess spend your adventures out into the world map. Do you want to get your guaranteed things, to get guaranteed rewards, or do you want to risk it a little bit and just try to brute force it to try to make it over the next hurdle? I don't know. Going back and forth on that one. But anyway, that's kind of the main game loop that's there. And again, really, I think all the screens are here. I want to make the main menu, make it more pretty, These are using the assets from K-Kit, K-Kit assets. Grab those on itch. And I really like what it's been able to do. This is built-in Godot engine, and I'm using some shaders to make it look a little bit, I guess, more flat. There's still some light that's going on and things like that, but for the most part, I have kind of a shader that's going on, looking at how to render the colors and making some of the shadows a little bit less harsh, as well as some outline shaders that I have here as well. This isn't actually using the depth shader that they added to, or the depth pass. No, what was it? The stencil buffer that Godot added in one of the last updates is actually a custom shader that's doing this and calculating it. So anyway, it's kind of the game so far. So let me swap back to the podcast. And I think for me, some of the biggest learnings that I had were, it was pretty successful for me to write out and design what I wanted to do first, and then go out and try to do it. And each time that I solved a small problem, really thinking about what was the thing that I wanted to add, what did I need to prove out to myself, that helped me push forward quite a bit. The middle of the week was really tough. I didn't have as much time to work on the game as I'd like. I'm also trying to spend some time just following my energy. If I feel like having fun, if I feel like hanging out with my family, I'm going to go do that. And there's just some days where I have to stay up late and get some time in, and that's what I did too. And I don't really like that all that much, because I think sleep is so important, and I don't want to have that be the only way that I make progress. So I think in the coming weeks, I want to make sure that I'm back on a good sleep cycle and trying to get what I need to get done, think about what I need to do, get it done at some point. And then if I don't get something done, I might just need to give myself a little bit more grace there and say, that's what it is. It's going to take longer, and see if there's a way for me to prioritize differently to get that done first. And if not, maybe just accept the fact that I'm going to have to find something else to do, something I do have time for. And then when I do have a lot more of a chunk time to get coding done, I can go and do that and carve out time for that as well. So, sleep is really important. I need more of it, and I think I'm going to need to change that, but I'm really glad on what I did do. Other things that were fun to do was making that node system of spawning and trying to figure out exactly how I was going to place the nodes, what that might look like, looking at the different algorithms for distributing. I'm using a Poisson disk algorithm to generate that. I'm using the A-star 3D node. No, it's not a node, just A-star 3D object in Godot to kind of handle some of those connections, which made a lot of the checking easier. And so I'm like building on top of that. It's essentially just a data structure for me to get IDs and locations, and then putting that into some different lookups so I can seamlessly travel or send that data between different things. And some of that menu that I had, it wasn't actually supposed to go there originally, but because I'd made everything modular, I was able to just end up showing that menu on that screen, and that was all I needed to do. I didn't need to do any other hookups. I just needed to say, hey, put this on screen. Now all the buttons work. Now everything's going back to the game data. And that was really, really nice to get that working. So now I feel much more confident if I do need to go and make changes to that, make it prettier, that I could just make those changes to the UI and it'll automatically show up. I don't need to go in and reconfigure things. And as I add some of the, clicking on the different buildings, I know what I need to do. I know how to switch between states. I know how to show different things. I know exactly where it's going to go. And so I don't need to worry about it anymore. I just need implementing it and integrating it into the game. I just need to worry about making that screen look good, making it function the way that I want. And that can be done totally separately outside the scene. Although I probably will still go in and mess around and have it in there just because it's fun to see it. So this upcoming week, I will probably want to focus more on making the missions exactly the way that I'm thinking about it, and starting to add in recipes to the game that can get unlocked. So completing missions can unlock different rewards that are permanent progressions, such as recipes. And then those recipes can be used to actually craft weapons. So coming up with some of the reward systems. I think that the resource gathering is in an okay spot. I definitely need way more content. I need more missions. I need more things to unlock. But I think I'm going to run out of things to do if I don't add some of these other permanent progression things in place. And then probably one of the last systems that I'm going to be adding is the character menus and all those different progressions where I can have characters take on and learn different skills. There's a couple questions that I have in my mind about how that might function, and specifically thinking about some of the games that this one is inspired from, and how I want to interweave all of these things together to make it into one cohesive package. The world also feels a little bit bland, not because of K's assets, but because of my ability to distribute things and make it more lively. So that might be something I want to do a little bit of a pass at too, of just make it feel a little bit more fresh. But I think on a polished pass, I don't want to do that quite yet because I really want to get those mechanics all flowing into each other, so I can kind of see how things are moving from screen to screen. I'm really just blocking things out still, so that way I can go back over, replace stuff, make it nice, and put in some different touches here and there. So that'll be what I'm working on this upcoming week, or at least headed toward. Really looking forward to getting my habits back into a good spot. It was such a fun week, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.